Hey everybody, this is Stratagem, and today we're gonna watch Filly Funtasia Season 1 Episode 23, Funtasia Festival. So yeah, after saving the fairy land in the last episode, we are apparently back to regular school shenanigans. We're having a festival, and if we're lucky, it's not gonna be like the Festival of Friendship, so we won't have a random pop singer taking top credit despite hardly being in the episode, and we won't have a stupid villain trying to take over. We're probably just gonna have a normal festival with normal activities. I see Zam and Sammy in the thumbnail, so that's probably enough villains, but maybe Wrangler and Battiwigs will also be here, who knows. They weren't in the last episode, so maybe we're gonna see them again here. Today we were trying the Spanish dub once again. We tried it a while ago and it didn't work out too well. There was audio from something else, I think a news report at the end, and I had to go back to the Hungarian version. This time we're gonna try Spanish again. If there are any problems, we'll just fall back to Slovenian, since that one has the English songs. So before we get started, let me remind you to leave a like on the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and you can also follow me on Twitter, DeviantArt and Patreon. And of course, speaking of Patreon, a huge shout out to my patrons, whose names are displayed on the screen right now. And with that out of the way, let's not waste any more time, here we go. The annual Festival of Funtasia. And they have a new character there, besides the teacher. That fairy teacher, we've seen him before. Unique recipes. Probably not good. Ferris wheel. Why are you advertising this? For whom were you doing that? Good job, Fabian. Oh hey! Tula! Didn't expect to see her again. Well, Patty is probably not very good at this. Anything. I mean, you're not gonna win it anyway. If anything, Willa's gonna get it. Oh dear, I'm gonna have Betty as the only villain, being the villain without, what's his face, Wranglem's help. Well, they aren't exactly wrong, are you now? Well, what are you doing with a watch? You're trying to hypnotize people? That's what they usually do with watches in cartoons. Also, I think that book just disappeared there for a singular frame. Yep! Hypnosis. It even comes with a watch. Yeah, you're never getting off of this wild ride. Or mild ride, rather. Yeah, these games are always scams. Also, it's interesting that they use the, what are they called, grounders as targets. Yep, that's definitely a scam. Okay, we're getting thrown out until forever. Bella and Cedric with different main and tail styles. Mostly main. Since when do they have... Oh, yes! I was about to say since when do they have a dragon, but ever since the Farina episode. It's been a while. Now watch him actually succeed at this. Of course. That is something you two would do. I'm actually amazed that Battiwigs was able to pull this off. Also, Tula, you used to be a bit more intelligent and capable of speech when you were big. Maybe you shouldn't have your mirrors out in the open. And the pets are still on the loose. No one managed to to catch a spider, a squirrel, a frog and Bijou. I mean, come on, guys. Good job. The snake escaped. Perfect. And Bella's apparently scared of heights. Maybe should have thought of that beforehand. And also, are you two hitting on one another now? Come on, you're a gym teacher. You should be able to deal with a frog. Good job, you. Hey, you! Well, that escalated quickly, huh? Almost. But not quite. How are you exactly flying? Sparkle. I was about to say, Rose didn't have her mirror out. Oh. You're just being a dick, Tula. Well, you did something and for once you were successful. That is very uncharacteristical of you. You probably shouldn't hug the snake. I mean, it's a cobra. Those are poisonous. They are not constrictors. Well, it's probably the most brutal scene in any horse cartoon in a while. He can actually play the flute, I'm kind of surprised. And in doing so, he might kind of reveal that he's behind all the other animals going berserk. That is not normal. That is just not normal. That is not how snakes anything. I mean, you can't really discuss with him. I mean, he can only talk to Addendum, at least from what we've seen so far. Thank you, Princess Celestia. I mean, Twilight. I mean, Miss Sparkle. Yeah, I don't think you get kicked out for cheating at these rigged carnival games. Didn't even get disqualified. Oh, but he might still get eaten by the owl. Because that's a thing. You actually use owls to get rid of bats. I mean, you managed to hypnotize them. That is somewhat of a skill. Wow, I couldn't make it to the exam because we were trapped in a giant spider web. It's interesting how the animals can apparently understand one another, as well as the fillies, but not the other way around. Like how they have that magnifying glass for Tula, since she would be too small otherwise. Well, since there's now only one contestant, everyone has won. Well, except for the part where several characters almost died. Well, since we don't have enough, since we only have that one cup, you all get a stuffed animal. That's a lot cheaper anyway. Getting rid of the watch? Yeah. I was thinking that maybe he would want to go to Addendum, but apparently not. Alright, so this was episode 23, right? Yes, 23. Yeah, that was a pretty fun episode. Lots of callbacks that I did not expect. We got to see, but Tula was from Hide and Seek, and we had Farina's child, the baby dragon there, which is actually a baby dragon, unlike a certain other baby dragon who pretty old to be called a baby, but we don't talk about him here. Yeah, so these two we got to see again. Bijou, she was in an earlier episode, like 1 or 2 episodes ago, so that wasn't that surprising. Also, the frog mascot that Fabian had, we had seen that one before as well. Zem and Zemi had a bigger role. Yeah, actually, pretty cool. We had a lot of side characters this time, had a bit of a chance to shine and to reappear. Yeah, I feel like this episode was surprisingly strongly focused on Zem, Zemi and Battiwigs, with our main 5 kinda taking a back seat. Bella and Cedric only had their dancing scene together, and then the part at the Ferris wheel. Will mostly was a sidekick to Battiwigs at the beginning during the pet performance. Lynn only had like 1 line of dialogue. She was mostly in the background this time. And yeah, Rose had a bit of screen time, but it really wasn't focused on the main characters this time, which is an interesting change of pace. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I feel like this was a really nice episode. Even if the graphics this time were on the not so great side. I mean, it was okay, but backgrounds and everything were very undetailed, which is kind of a shame for an episode that takes place at a fair, so that could have been a bit more of a visual something, but it was still a fun episode, and well, I liked that one. Funny to see Battiwigs being somewhat competent at what he does for once. Usually he manages to screw up everything. I mean, he screwed up this time too. But he screwed up because his plan was stupid and not very well thought through, but he managed to do what he set out to do, so there's that. Yeah, definitely like this episode, and yeah, now it's only 3 more episodes to go. So next time we're gonna be having a look at episode 24, and thereafter we're gonna tackle the episodes 25 and 26 together, because from what I hear, it's gonna be a 2-parter, or basically a 2-parter, so that's gonna be 1 reaction probably. Anyways, I think that's everything I have to say for this episode. So, as always, I have been Stratagem, thanks for watching, and see you next time.